I'm actually going to be talking about my journals. If you've watched my video on the stationery haul that I got from Amazon, I talked about wanting to kind of get back into a regular schedule of journaling and just really getting into decorating it, making it more colorful, because I've always been a journaler. I love it for it being a way to express myself, to vent, a place where I can just write down all my happy memories. And I tend to focus more on the text part. And I've started watching a lot of videos on YouTube where people have gotten really creative with it, expressing themselves through doodles and art, stickers, things like that. And I thought that that would be a great way for me to incorporate the scrapbooking aspect of memory making into my journals, because I really enjoy scrapbooking. I just don't have the time nor the patience to create those very elaborate layouts. I love looking at what people can do creatively with that, but I just don't have, I guess, that talent to do so. I tend to focus on just writing things down, gluing down pictures and things like that, and just call it a day. And that's just how I journal. And so I wanted to come on here and show you what kind of journals I have, and then a couple pens that I use for them, and then to review maybe some of my favorite journals in the past. If I'm clever enough to figure it out, I will insert a picture below of my collection of journals. I used to keep them in a big antique trunk, and I have, starting from when I was a child up to, I think I'm on my 37th or 38th journal. I've got them all numbered chronologically now. I actually spent like an afternoon organizing them into the order that they were written in. And I kind of wanted to show you some of my favorites, like favorite covers, things like that, favorite features, because I've gone through a lot of journals. I've gone through so many different styles, so many different types of paper, and I can honestly tell you that I've really narrowed it down to what I seem to like. Should I go in chronological order? Out of the earliest journals that I've got here that are my favorites, this is actually one of my first favorites, and I still love looking at it to this day. This is number 5. Oh, sorry for the glare. It's really bright in here. It turned out to be a lot sunnier than I thought it was going to be. This is what it looks like. How gorgeous is that? It's all sorts of like poetry written in gold text and colors, and just looks so dreamlike. I think it's supposed to be, yeah, a dream journal. And then that's what it looks like. And I just use it as a regular journal. I just love the color of this, and the graphics. They're just so gorgeous. And, you know, back in the 90s, and, you know, everybody had the bookmarks with the tassels. Which one was this one? Oh, this one actually came with the journal. So that's what it looks like. So next one is, so that's number 5, and then I've got 25, so this is much later. And this is what it looks like. This is actually, or was, a gift from my cousin in Hong Kong when I was visiting her. She got this as a gift, and she doesn't really journal, so she knew that I journaled and decided to give it to me. So that's why it's just, that in itself makes it very sentimental for me. That's what the back looks like. And I never knew what the cartoon was, but you know what it is? It's a burnt piece of bread. How cute is that? So it's just this little burnt piece of bread going on his little adventures. The paper was really nice. It was lined. This one was lined as well. And this one also came with like a little ribbon bookmark. So one of my favorites. On to 29. And I actually love this one so much that I bought this a few more times. This was actually a journal that's all made of handmade paper from India. So it's got the feel of handmade paper. That's what it looks like on the back. It's just plain black on the back there. And the paper is thick, handmade. There's no rough edges. It's actually all cut to size. But the paper is just rough and it absorbs ink so well that I actually wrote all of the entries in this one with a quill and ink, or stylus and ink, depending on the mood, because I have both. Because one year my brother got me a quill and ink pot as a birthday gift, and I thought that was really cool. So love this journal so much that I actually got several copies of these. I love handmade paper journals, and I'm always seeking out those because they just take ink so well. So if you write with a fountain pen or heavier inks, they don't bleed through. They absorb it beautifully. It doesn't bleed. This one didn't bleed at all, so I love that. And I love the texture of that. This one is at Barnes & Noble's, I believe. It's still there. And then 33, this one came a little after. I love this one because it's got the 40s, 50s theme of the automat. I love all things retro. Just red binding, and that's the back right there. So just to give you a closer look at the automat look. Love that. This one had just kind of cream-based, lightly lined paper. More or less, I just love that it had the elastic right there because I'm one of those journalers that I'll just slip in brochures, tickets, things like that. All sorts of memories, so it's nice to have that sort of elastic to kind of keep everything in, and I don't have to worry about it falling out. And I love the size of this one. This one is like more handheld, easy to travel with, and I don't know, I go back and forth. Sometimes I want to fill a huge journal, but sometimes I also like the really small ones. The unfortunate part is the small ones, they fill up so easily if you journal on a regular basis, but loved the cover of this one. And then lastly, out of all my favorites, this is number 35. Can you see it? There it is. This one has a leather cover. I believe I also got this at Barnes & Noble. A lot of my journals came from Barnes & Noble. And it's got the leather tie there, and it's got the stitching on the side, on the binding there, which I now know how that works. So I unwrap it. That's the nice part about this, is because I can also like slip in things and not worry about things falling out. Soft leather cover. Oh, things are falling out already. Cream paper on the thicker side, so that's what the paper looks like. It's more slippery, so if I used, this was usually, for the most part, my favorite pen to journal with, the Uniball Vision Elite. That's what it looks like. This takes a little bit of time to kind of sink into this cream-based paper. Unlined. Well, this one didn't really quite take to kind of fountain pen ink, ink pots if you're writing with a stylus. So had to go back and forth with the type of pens that I would use for journals. So those are the past journals that I've really loved. And then I'm going to go into journals that I use currently. These two are not necessarily journals, but I don't use these two as frequently. This one's just a Paris-based themed one. On the back it just looks like that. It's just a small journal. That's what it looks like. Easy to carry with. I chose this because I wanted to use it to record memorable meals. My husband and I love checking out new restaurants. We're huge foodies. We cook a lot at home, and so we tend to seek out really good food, and we love to talk about food too. So I thought this would be a great way to just write down memorable meals. It's just unlined paper, easy to carry. And then this is one I got at Typo. I got it because it had the bunny on the front, and that's what the back looks like. Black binding, very small, has a ribbon on it. I actually use this to kind of keep track of all natural recipes that I want to try, that I found that work. So it's like body butters, body scrubs, home cleaning solutions. That's what I use this for, and I've kind of slipped in recipes that I found at like my local co-op. All of those recipes are actually in this specific book. So it's handy, and then I can grab it and use it for when I need it. Another one that I don't access too often, but I've really started to maintain recently because I want to move, is this one right here. It's just a black Moleskin notebook, unlined paper, but I'm using it to record all of my family recipes. My mom comes from a generation where they cook everything from scratch, and it's not measuring anything. All the ingredients are just depending on how many people you're feeding, depending on how much you have of an ingredient. And so I really don't subscribe to that because I grew up with, cookbooks, teaspoon of this, a cup of that, very specific instructions, which probably makes sense why I tend to lean towards baking more than actual cooking, because cooking, it's too wild. Baking is a science, and I like the structure. So I'm trying to learn from my mom, and I'm trying to write down all of my favorite recipes from her, childhood favorites, just Chinese recipes that you can't get around here because, they just come from generations of, my grandmother passing it down to my mom and so forth. This is a really important one. I think this would be a great thing for people to try doing, especially if you plan on moving away from family, or an older generation, maybe their memory is starting to go. It'd be a great way for you to keep track of those family memories and those family recipes, so you'll always have them with you, and then you can pass that on to the next generation. So this one is, like I said, very important to me. It's actually fairly new. I've been fascinated with the Midori concept, and I decided to make my own. And this is what it looks like. It's just raw leather that I found at Michael's, and I just actually changed out the elastic here to a brown one. It used to be black because that's all I could find, and then I found brown elastic at Joann's, and it was thicker too. And then I decided to add like this kind of rustic wooden looking button to the end, so I could just pull it easily. And the concept of the Midori is that you can slip out notebooks with the elastics that are held right here. So as you use them up, you can just replace them. What do I have in here? I really don't have a purpose for the third notebook. I actually made a lot of my own inserts, but I made it to fit the size of the Moleskin Kahir notebooks because I wanted something small I can carry with me on the weekend, so I can use it at a cafe, whatever. So I made my own inserts with a lot of graph paper. I'm not doing anything with the third notebook, but that's the cover of the third notebook. It's got like, I don't know, it's like textured paper, so it feels nice. Slipped in an envelope for like washi tape sheets and paper clips. The second notebook, again, is just the graph paper that I made myself with a blank cover like that. And then the other side of the envelope with some diary stickers and paper clip. And for this one, I specifically have a Le Pen in lavender for this. And the second notebook I actually use for all my to-dos. So if I'm out and about and I think of something I need to get done, goes onto this list, as well as I'll slip in post-it notes of things to add to my gratitude journal, things that are happening so I can make sure to remember them to journal in them in my main journal, things that I need to buy, receipts if I have them so they don't bulk up my wallet. And then the first notebook is a blank Moleskin notebook. I'm actually using this to write little notes to my husband. He doesn't know this is happening, but I started it when we started going to Chicago for like day trips and things like that. So writing down little bits and memories, tidbits, so when this fills up, I can give it to him on, I don't know, whatever anniversary or something as like a little sentimental gift. So I thought that would be fun. And I'm really happy I made this. Maybe one day I'll get the official Midori, but I happen to like the size of the ones that can fit the Moleskin Kahir notebooks because I like that it's just compact, small, fits 3 notebooks. That's pretty much all I need, and it can age with me. And finally, the 2 last journals are my gratitude journal and my main journal. My gratitude journal is something that I started when I read Simple Abundance, Daybook of Comfort and Joy by Sarah Ban Breathnach, who was recommended by my housewife life, Jen Ross, here on YouTube. I'll link her channel below. I absolutely love watching her videos. And in a self-help guide to becoming more grateful, living in the moment, simplifying your life, this really helped. I was in kind of I don't want to say a dark place, a low place at some point in my life because I lost my job. It was the first time that ever happened to me, and we were heading into the holidays. It was difficult to accept, and job hunting, as we all know, is a hard thing to do, especially when something so suddenly like that happens. And the gratitude journal really helped me. I got the Moleskin limited edition Hobbit cover, and I like that it has the elastic. Not that I need to slip anything in here, but it's just cream colored blank pages, unlined. That's what it looks like. Rather large, but it gives me enough pages where, if with the bookmark, that I can write down every day things that I'm grateful for. And I've started adding in just things that make me happy too. So eventually I want to maybe just incorporate this into my regular journal so I don't have so many separate journals. But right now it's working for me, and in that time this really helped. It really helped me to focus on not the woe is me, why did this happen to me moments. It made me focus on I'm alive, I'm healthy, and it was a chance for me to, seek out something new. This really helped. So that's my gratitude journal. And if you ask me, I think next time I won't choose such a large journal. I think I want something, once again, a little bit smaller and compact as a gratitude journal. And then, and for that, I actually use a specific pen. This is the Micron 0.45 millimeter in navy, which I think is a really nice weight. I tend to like heavier ink weights, bolder ink weights. I just feel like they write a lot smoother, and for me, that's just what I prefer. I just love the look of a good, bold ink weight. And finally, this big guy right here, this is my main journal. That's what it looks like. Handmade Italian leather cover with fleur-de-lis stamped in gold. I think it's at Barnes & Noble still, I'm pretty sure. There's a whole series of these kind of handmade notebooks with like the woven edges here. Comes with a bookmark. It's huge. I don't know what possessed me to buy this. I mean, look how big that is compared to my face. It's huge. Because I thought, well, if I have one, I won't have to change out my journals as often. But it is heavy, and I found that if I wanted to bring this somewhere with me, I can't because it's so heavy. I do like that it's lined. That's what it looks like. Quite large. Big enough that you can slip in things, but that, once again, will add in bulk. I do like it, but I think next time when I choose my main journal, like I said, I'll choose something a little bit more compact and small. Who knows, I might actually make a true to size Midori and then, make that my gratitude journal, main journal, whatever. And for this, I use that Uniball Vision Elite pen. Because this also doesn't really take like fountain pen ink or anything, because it takes a while to absorb. But I do enjoy it. I like that it looks so grand. It just feels like something somebody would have in a grand manner, and they would just have it open on their big oak desk and just write for an afternoon. For me, that's just the whole vision of that makes it very attractive in using this. Those are my journals. I'm pretty sure I've covered all of them, and at the moment I've not quite filled it up. I mean, I've still got this much left to fill, so it's gonna be a while. But you know how when you're a journaler, you're looking forward to the day. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because if it's a journal that you really like, you're happy that you can move on and find a new journal, but at the same time you're sad to see that this one's filled up and you can't use it anymore. So that's how I feel about a lot of these journals. But wanted to come on here and show you my journal collection, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. I'd really love to hear what your journaling style is, what kind of journals you use, or where you find your journals. I'm always looking for new places to shop for journals, and any person who does journal on a regular basis, you know how it feels to just want to buy cute notebooks anytime you see them. I've got a small collection of them already. Now, I don't even know what I'm going to fill them up with. And if you've watched my junk journaling haul, I want to create all these junk journals, but I don't know what I'm going to use them for. So I might actually turn some of those junk journals into actual journals. I think that's it. I'll wrap it up here. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!